Come on, come on. Woohoo!
You won the Master Peanut Butter.
What? Is it real?
Today I decided to take an adventurous stroll through the woods. It kind of fits with our theme today, you know, expectation. Who knows what could be back there in the woods, which just happens to be right behind my house. Funny, the GameBrew intro should have played right there. So everyone has expectations about how a game will be. These expectations directly affect what a player will think about a game. Pikmin 3 was one of those high expectation games for me. The game was announced in 2008 by Shigeru Miyamoto. It was originally going to be released for the Wii, but by the 2011 E3, plans were revealed to release it for the Wii U. I was so excited to get an HD sequel to one of my favorite childhood games, Pikmin 2. But unfortunately, I was let down. And it was really my fault because I set expectations that were so high. Compared to Pikmin 2, Pikmin 3 has a slower response time, specifically for when you want to throw Pikmin. It doesn't respond as quickly, feels edited for less advanced players, and it feels like the story is buffered, whereas Pikmin 2 allowed you more freedom on where and when you wanted to go places. Pikmin 3 kind of feels like you're going on a linear storyline. It really is a good game, it's just that it wasn't all I expected it to be. There are basically 3 ways you can go into a game, with no expectations, with high expectations, or with low expectations. The outcomes are basic common sense. Go in with low expectations and you may be surprised at what you get. This can be a good thing. You might actually enjoy the game you thought would stink because Game Informer rated it a 4 out of 10. If you go in with high expectations, there's a chance you'll be disappointed. This happens to me often actually, but it doesn't need to be the case, as the game may really be as great as you expect. If it's not, there's a letdown and possibly disillusionment. Disillusionment occurs when you refuse to accept the truth and believe a lie. How could you actually not believe what's right before you? Well, maybe you could hope something better will come later in the game. And hopefully it does. More on that in a bit. Believe it or not, one of the most rewarding experiences is when you go in a game with little expectation of what's to come. Surprises come like itty-bitty presents when this happens. I don't know what's better, going in a game with low expectations or no expectations. It's not that expecting little is a good thing. The big issue is that one may look to a game to provide what a game simply cannot provide, say, fulfillment or joy. You're going to be disappointed. When you are, you won't be able to shrug it off because your happiness weighed so heavily on how fun the game was supposed to be.
Lee.
Seriously? You could have just asked to come.
But then you would have said no.
Exactly. Promise is when a game leads you to expect more to come in the future. A shadowy figure may give you a sense of wonder at what's to come next, or a well-thought-out story, yet unfinished, may promise more exciting things to come, like the mysterious storybook sequences in Super Mario Galaxy. Blah, what a tongue twister. Each game sets standards for itself, leading the player to expect certain things as time goes on. If a video game keeps bringing new features, the player is inclined to expect more new features to come. He'll be confident that the current challenge is worth the time. Obviously, a clear goal represents an important promise. The end is clearly seen. That is very important. Tied in with promise is a sense of direction and a sense of purpose. They go hand in hand. What is that?
I won the game and got a magic peanut butter jar. I knew I shouldn't have opened it. Now the crazy creature had been released into the real world. I can do this. I'm the master.
Whoa, nice one, Ben.
Phew, all those games really made a difference.
So, wrapping up, you want me to give you some practical ways on how to prevent disappointment and also how to provide promise in a game? The first thing that you can do is allow the player to clearly see the rewards and also the end goals. If the player can actually physically see the reward in the game, it gives them something to look forward to and expect. You don't have to share everything the reward will do for the player, but give a hint at what the reward will offer. Also, keep bringing surprises. If you keep bringing unexpected things into the game, the player is going to start to expect them, which is kind of a paradox. But the idea is that the player keeps looking forward for things to come in the future. Keep bringing new features in general, so that the player will continue to expect better things to come. Another thing you can do is set quality standards. Like I said, each game sets a standard for itself. Set quality standards and then promise that more good things will come based on those standards in the future. The standards can be anything about a game. To try and prevent disappointment, something you can do is purposely surprise the player with unexpected things. This is similar to what I said about keep bringing surprises. The idea is that if a player is disappointed, surprising them with something unexpected will give them something else to enjoy in the game, besides focusing on the things that didn't meet their expectations. If you follow that branch out a bit, you come to my next tip, which is to introduce a complete twist which the player didn't expect. Maybe it's a twist in the story, or maybe it's just some wild game mechanic that the player had no clue would appear in this game. You can introduce something totally extreme or different that may get the player's mind off what disappointed them in the first place, and may actually lead them to expect some better things in the future. Unfortunately, a player is going to be disappointed completely based on what their mindset is about the game. The player may read news articles or play movies in their head about what they think the game will be like, and then when they finally play it, it may be that they've set themselves up to be disappointed. So it's kind of tricky when you're trying to prevent a player from being disappointed. Of course, you can't please everyone. Or can you? Also, get feedback. That can of course help a lot of things. So this will be funny. If your life was a video game, which one would it be and why? I'll be looking forward to some funny responses. As always, the survey link is provided in the video description. And of course, I'll post the results on next week's video, God willing.